A thesis or dissertation is a document submitted in support of candidature for an academic degree or professional qualification, presenting the author's research and findings. In some contexts, the word thesis or a cognate is used for part of a bachelor's or master's course, while dissertation is normally applied to a doctorate, while in other contexts, the reverse is true. The term graduate thesis is sometimes used to refer to both master's theses and doctoral dissertations. Dissertations and theses may be considered to be grey literature. The required complexity and/or quality of research of a thesis or dissertation can vary by country, university and/or program, and the required minimum study period may thus vary significantly in duration. The word dissertation can at times be used to describe a treatise without relation to obtaining an academic degree. The term thesis is also used to refer to the general claim of an essay or similar work. Etymology. The term thesis comes from the Greek theta epsilon sigma iota sigma, meaning something put forth, and refers to an intellectual proposition. Dissertation comes from the Latin dissertatio, meaning path, structure and presentation style. Structure. A thesis may be arranged as a thesis by publication or a monograph with or without appended papers respectively. An ordinary monograph has a title page, an abstract, a table of contents, comprising the various chapters, and a bibliography or a references section. They differ in their structure in accordance with the many different areas of study and the minimal differences between them. In a thesis by publication, the chapters constitute an introductory and comprehensive review of the appended published and unpublished article documents. Dissertations normally report on a research project or study, or an extended analysis of a topic. The structure of the thesis or dissertation explains the purpose, the previous research literature which impinges on the topic of the study, the methods used and the findings of the project. Most world universities use a multiple chapter format. An introduction, which introduces the research topic, the methodology, as well as its scope and significance. B. A literature review, reviewing relevant literature and showing how this has informed the research issue. C. A methodology chapter, explaining how the research has been designed and why the research methods, population, data collection and analysis being used have been chosen. D. A findings chapter, outlining the findings of the research itself. E. An analysis and discussion chapter, analyzing the findings and discussing them in the context of the literature review. F. A conclusion style. Degree awarding institutions often define their own house style that candidates have to follow when preparing a thesis document. In addition to institution-specific house styles, there exist a number of field-specific, national, and international standards and recommendations for the presentation of theses, for instance ISO 7144. Some older house styles specify that front matter uses a separate page number sequence from the main text using Roman numerals. The relevant international standard and many newer style guides recognize that this book design practice can cause confusion where electronic document viewers number all pages of a document continuously from the first page, independent of any printed page numbers. They therefore avoid the traditional separate number sequence for front matter and require a single sequence of Arabic numerals starting with 1 for the first printed page. Presentation requirements, including pagination, layout, type and color of paper, use of acid-free paper, paper size, order of components, and citation style, will be checked page by the accepting officer before the thesis is accepted and a receipt is issued. However, strict standards are not always required. Most Italian universities, for example, have only general requirements on the character size and the page formatting, and leave much freedom on the actual typographic details. Thesis committee. A thesis or dissertation committee is a committee that supervises a student's dissertation. This committee, at least in the U.S. model, usually consists of a primary supervisor or advisor and 2 or more committee members, who supervise the progress of the dissertation and may also act as the examining committee, or jury, at the oral examination of the thesis. At most universities, the committee is chosen by the student in conjunction with his or her primary advisor, usually after completion of the comprehensive examinations or prospectus meeting, and may consist of members of the comps committee. The committee members are doctors in the field and have the task of reading the dissertation, making suggestions for changes and improvements, and sitting in on the defense. Sometimes, at least one member of the committee must be a professor in a department that is different from that of the student.